welcome to another episode of Dee Brief, where I go through how I'm feeling at the moment in terms of my physical symptoms and side effects post-chemotherapy, also mental health check-ins too. I'm currently 3 months post-chemotherapy for Hodgkin Lymphoma, and so let's get started. Coming to you today from my hanging chair. This is somewhere I spent a lot of time during treatment because I had treatment in the summer, so the weather was a bit nicer, bit too hot for me to actually be outside in the sun, and I couldn't tolerate the warmth, but I would spend my mornings out here, so it felt like a good change of scenery from inside the home where I obviously spent a lot of time. This is where I would come for like respite. It would feel like an outing and an activity for the day. If I came out and sat here for a little bit of time, do some reading, listening to podcasts, I would feel a lot more accomplished. I think I'm going to do another episode about goal setting and feeling productive during treatment, because I think that's something that a lot of young people probably experience, is that feeling of needing to be productive. You know, we're not at work when we're used to probably working full time. So that seems to be a common theme among the younger people that I've spoken to going through cancer. So I'll do another episode about that. Anyway, so I wanted to give you an update on where my hair is at. It's growing really well. I'm actually starting to get hat hair for the first time, which is not that fun. Oh, isn't that cool? You can see the ripples from my beanie. So it's growing in great. Really running my hand through it now. It's growing very evenly. Brows. Last time when I said I thought they were 100%, I'm not sure that was accurate because I think they're still growing. You can see my lashes there as well. I'm not using makeup products anymore on my brows or lashes unless it's a special event. I'm feeling really confident in how they are at the moment. So I am still wearing wigs, and I actually got a new one delivered just during the week. I'll do a little wig tour video so that you can meet all the ladies, but that's for another time. So I've got my nails, I've got them painted today, which I usually do because they are still feeling more brittle and discolored. The nail beds, as I mentioned last video, are not quite right. I don't know if you can see, but you can actually see the end of the nail bed there being higher up than it used to be before treatment. See it in there, which makes the nails really sensitive. I can't cut them too short, but then I can't have them too long because they're brittle and then they can actually break more easily. So that's just a bit of a nail update. I like to keep them painted. Currently using an OPI, which my friend put me on to. Fabulous, really good quality. This is their quick dry range. It's been really fun. In terms of neuropathy, which is numbness in the fingers, some people get it in their toes as well. For me, I didn't get it in my toes, just my fingers. It's still there. It's very mild and it doesn't interrupt my function. So I can thread a needle, which for me is probably the biggest test of how my dexterity and feeling is. It's kind of what I've been using to measure my neuropathy and how it's been going. So it's very mild. I really only feel it when I'm putting pressure through my nail or the very end of my fingertips. So that is sorting itself out. I've been told to expect that to last for a little while, but should resolve over time. It shouldn't be a permanent side effect from chemotherapy. I wanted to comment on pain. I'm not feeling any pain anymore. I know some other people do, but I am not. I haven't got any back pain or any other pain. So that's really good. I wanted, scar check. This is from the excisional biopsy of my swollen lymph node. This was my very first and only symptom for a really long time of my cancer. To get my diagnosis, they did needle biopsies in here and in other nodes, but that missed it. they came back suspicious but inconclusive. So they ended up doing the excisional biopsy where they cut through there and took out the whole node, and that's how they diagnosed what I had. I'm going to show you my PICC line scar. So just take my cardigan off there for a sec. All right, so there we are. It is just there. Sorry, it's a bit awkward. You can see it's still a little bit raised. It's red. It's a little bigger than how I thought it was going to be at this point. It's been removed for 2 months now. I've been doing scar management on it, which is using bio oil and putting pressure through there to try to break up the scar tissue. It's working. It's definitely going down, but it's not finished. So I need to keep remembering to do that. I try to do it every day. I probably don't. I probably do it every 2 or 3 days after a shower. So if I put a bit more effort in there, I might get a better result. An issue I'm having at the moment is with my teeth. They got extremely sensitive after right at the end of chemo, and even after I finished chemo, my teeth were extremely sensitive. I switched to Sensodyne sensitive toothpaste, which made a bit of a difference at the start, but really it didn't fix it, and I still had very sensitive teeth. Even drinking room temperature water was so uncomfortable. Biting into fruit that was room temperature, really painful. That has settled now. I'm able to drink room temperature water and don't have to heat up my water anymore. Eating fruit is comfortable. So that's fantastic. But I have been wanting to transition back to using a electric toothbrush. I used to use an electric toothbrush before I started cancer treatment, and it always made me feel much more sort of clean and fresh in comparison to using a manual toothbrush. So it's something I want to get back to. I was told to stop using a electric toothbrush because they're too harsh, too powerful, and too rough on the gums. And if you've got anywhere that infections or bacteria of any kind can get in, it's very dangerous for you when you're going through chemotherapy, because chemotherapy kills off your white blood cells, and you can't fight the infection yourself as you normally would. So even something as simple as a little nick can become infected easily, and your body can't fight that. So I've been using very, very gentle toothbrush, the softest that I could find, with sensitive toothpaste. I've tried twice now to use my electric toothbrush, but it's too rough, it's too hard. I actually gave myself a bit of a mouth ulcer, so I've decided to stop using the electric toothbrush. I'm going to give it a bit more time. It's the first time I've had a mouth ulcer since my first my first cycle of chemotherapy. It's really uncomfortable, so I'm going to give that a rest, try again maybe in another month's time, see where my gums are at and if they're ready for a bit more of a harsh toothbrush. The next symptom that I want to talk about is brain fog. This is something that, as I mentioned a couple of videos ago, my hematologist said it can last for 6 to 12 months. Currently, I am still experiencing brain fog. I am not great at finding words, and I forget things easily. It doesn't bother me too much. I notice it most in conversation with other people, and I'm just tripping over my words, trying to think of different words to replace the word that I haven't been able to find, and I just can't do it. It's really hard. So but the way that I'm handling that is just telling people, look, I've got chemo brain. I've got brain fog. So please bear with me for a moment. And that seems to be going well. Just being honest with people and managing their expectations, it makes me feel like I'm putting less pressure on myself. So that's a tip from me about how to handle that if you're going through brain fog. The next thing I want to chat about is a bit of mental health check-in. So I've been getting triggered by things, and it's been really surprising to me. It kind of catches me off guard. I don't like using the word trigger lightheartedly because I think it's one of those words that does get overused. I think it's similar to when people say, "Oh, I'm so OCD," when they don't have a diagnosis of OCD, and that is a real disorder. So to say I'm being triggered, I'm not using that lightly, and I have chatted with my psychologist about it, and it is what's happening to me in those moments. Some of the things that have triggered me is the smell of the wipes used at the gym that I go to. It's a hospital grade disinfectant wipe that we use after each piece of equipment. And the smell of that instantly took me back to being in hospital for my dressing changes on my PICC line. I think it must be the same composition as one of the products that they were using there, because it smelled exactly the same, and it transported me back there mentally and really upset me. It made me, it's not that I didn't feel scared or unsafe. I'm still not really sure what it is that I'm feeling in that moment, because I know that I'm not at the hospital. I think it reminds me of what I've gone through, and it kind of snaps me back into this reality that I am a cancer patient, which is something that I'm still grappling with even after 8 months, is that I had cancer, and it doesn't feel real sometimes, because as I've started getting back into quote unquote normal life, you can forget. If people are treating you normally and you're doing normal things, you're back at work, it's sad, to be reminded. But I've combated that one by using a different spray. Luckily they had 2 options, so now I just don't use that one because I know that it's going to trick me, so I just avoid using it, and that's working for that one. Another thing that happened is that my husband needed a minor surgery at a hospital. He's recovering really well from that, and I went with him to right up to the point where they were putting the cannula in and about to wheel him off into the room for the surgery. I was totally fine being in the hospital. That wasn't a problem. Maybe because I've worked in hospitals for a really long time, so I'm comfortable in a hospital environment generally. But as soon as they brought out the blood pressure cuff and the cannula and they started doing that, I got triggered again, and it was really upsetting, and I started crying, and I said to him, "It's not you, I'm not actually worried about you, in this moment, and I'm just being reminded of what I've gone through." So what I do in the moments that I get triggered is to really immerse myself in the feeling. I find that helps it to go away more quickly. Not to go away, it helps me to process it. I let myself feel what I need to feel. Don't fight it, because it's real and it's valid. And I want you to know that, is that everything you feel is valid. And even if you were okay with something one time, it doesn't mean that you're going to be okay with it next time. For example, getting my blood pressure taken with a blood pressure cuff, that is not something that I ever struggled with. It's very straightforward. There's no consequences to it, It's not painful. And I had it done multiple times a week for 6 months straight during treatment. And they needed to do it on me after one of my exercise classes because I felt a bit lightheaded. So I said, yeah, can you please take it, just check, see what's going on, see if I'm okay. And when they put the machine on me, the cuff on me, I instantly just felt sad and upset, and again transported sort of back into that hospital situation. In the moment, I had felt like I was going backwards, like, oh, I'm not normal. I am a cancer patient, and how sad is that? But that's a valid feeling. So I let myself feel it, and I told my therapist what I was feeling, which is important that you do, because it's reassuring to them. Oh, sorry, when I say therapist, I meant my exercise physiologist. It's important to tell them what you're doing actually isn't hurting me. It's okay. I know that you need to do it for my health. You know, to check if my blood pressure is okay, and it was. I'm just feeling emotional about this, and that's okay, and that's really valid. So mentally, I am still getting triggered by things, but writing it out and allowing myself to sit in that feeling, and remind myself that I am safe, and that part of my life is over. And this is just part of healing, emotionally, mentally, and that's okay. So that's where I'm at. Thank you so much for tuning in again, and I hope that this is helping you to see that, you know, if you're also feeling like you've got these lingering physical side effects on top of all the mental load of everything, that's normal. And sorry about all the background noise, I'm sitting outside. As I said before, it's normal, and write it out, and you are valid in whatever way you're feeling. It's a roller coaster. Tune in again next time. Thanks again. See you later.